Baxendale is with us on the broadcast. Dean, snap polls amid a tariff war that's going on between Canada and US. Yes, Mark Carney was not really elected as the Prime Minister of the country. He was selected by the Liberal Party as their leader. But do you think this is a great strategic move to be announcing snap polls at this moment, or do you think it's going to turn out as a disaster for the Liberal Party?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Certainly the polls do not suggest that at all. The Conservatives in Canada in early January, before Trudeau's resignation, had a 29-point lead in the polls. This has evaporated to where the Leger poll just came out with a 2-point lead for the Liberals. So this suggests a massive swing. And what is the reason for that massive swing in favor of Mark Carney? Mark Carney is basically going back on everything Justin Trudeau put in place: the carbon tax, increased, promising to put pipelines, putting a focus on the energy sector, making it more affordable for Canadians. He has stolen the Conservative platform and now is enjoying a lead. Now, having said that, we have just started the election, so he's on a honeymoon period, and the big question is who will best fight Donald Trump and the U.S. on tariffs. But Canada is caught between a geopolitical crisis war between China and America, and the Americans are leveraging this to their benefit. Canada has been weakened by Trudeau's policies over the past 10 years, and the Americans know we're vulnerable. So that's the state we're in, and it is certainly an election of our time.
Dean, it's also interesting that, a lot of times it is said that Canadians, as far as the general election is concerned, do not vote on at least foreign policy. But this time around, foreign policy clearly has taken center stage as far as the Liberal Party versus the Tories is concerned. But after Justin Trudeau's exit, Mark Carney coming in and Pierre Poilievre really in campaign mode since the past 1.5 to 2 years, how do you see this having an impact? Has Mark Carney been able to remove the kind of doubts that people had with Justin Trudeau? Has he brought in some sort of optimism in the minds of Canadians? And what about Pierre Poilievre? Where does he stand in all of this?
Well, let's not underestimate, obviously, the current major thing on the table, and that is the tariffs from America. There is also countervailing the tariffs from China on Canada at the same time. China is Canada's second largest trading partner, however, only accounting for about 4% of our two-way GDP, where the Americans account for about 79%. So where does Pierre Poilievre go? And as Mark Carney instilled confidence in Canadians? Yes, in the polls, it's suggesting that they believe he's best suited to take on Donald Trump. Now, Mark Carney has a history. He's a globalist. He's attached to Brookfield Asset Management, which has significant assets in China. And this seems to be just a continuation of the Trudeau policy that Canadians will get under Mark Carney at this particular point in time. So Pierre Poilievre has to really focus in on a pro-Canada message, being able to combat the Americans while riding a fine line on that. But I see right now, as I said, the Carney Liberals have a honeymoon period. Let's see, once we start fighting in the trenches on this election, get to the debates, where the polls start to go and where Canadians really are going to park their votes.